All right, guys, gonna do a little detail job on the little Fiat 500 of my wife's here. This thing is in definite need of some love, so I just put a new fuel pump in it. Wasn't really that bad of a job. Anyway, car's running, but hopefully it's fixed. Hopefully I won't die and not want to start anymore. Anyway, got some rusty factory wheels. We bought some aftermarket hubcaps for it. Off of eBay. They were $44 with free shipping, and they're gloss black, so kind of goes with the black paint on the car. I'm not a big fan of the factory Fiat silver hubcaps for 2012. The tabs are really delicate. Every time I went to remove a hubcap, it seemed like a tab would break off, and then they get to where they make noise when you're driving, and then they get to where, you know, they don't even want to stay on. So we've taken them off and left them off, so the constant sun on them and the weather has made them start to surface rust. So I am going to sand down the rims a little bit, and I'm just going to spray paint them with some probably some satin black or flat black spray paint. I'll go in here and mask off the tire, and then once I paint the wheels, I'm going to go ahead and wash the car, give it a much needed bath. And then I've got an orbital polisher from Harbor Freight, and I'm going to actually polish the paint on it. I need to repaint this again. The paint started coming off of this. This is glass. This is actually a steel strip of the body. The paint started coming off of this several years ago, and I painted it, and then it got all rock chipped up and started flaking off again, so I sanded it down and shot it again. And this is actually spray paint this time. It was just like a 2-hour quickie job I did on it. And this has actually lasted longer than anything, and it's just being spray paint. So it's faded now, but anyway, I do have a pint of this black metallic or pearl or whatever this is. So I might go ahead and sand this down and shoot it. I don't know if I'll do that today. I may do it this week. I was wanting to take these old stripes off because they are really rough to the touch when you touch them, and they're faded out really, really bad. They're splitting, the edges are peeling, but anyway, I think a wash job will go a long ways, and then painting those wheels and putting hubcaps on. The hubcaps we got, when you snap them on, you can still see through the spokes a little bit and see the wheels, so I didn't want the rust to be behind there, so that's why I'm painting them. Anyway, so this is a before, and I'll get you an after. Alright, so this was the first one I done, which this one has a valve stem issue. I've been having to put air in it at least once or twice a week. So tomorrow morning, I'm going to pull this wheel back off. I'm going to take her to work in the truck, and then come back and take the wheel to the tire shop and have a new valve stem put in it. Anyway, I just got this one painted. So we are using red Scotch-Brites, which this one's pretty trashed, but red Scotch-Brites, and we sanded and sanded and sanded, and it actually smoothed them out real nice. So I'm just using Krylon Fusion all-in-one. It's paint and primer, satin black, doing 2 coats. So I just took like 1.5-inch masking tape and just did 5-inch strips at a time, around about 5 inches, not exactly, but put a piece up in there on the tire, and another piece, another piece, another piece, and overlap them so they'll stick. That way it makes a little wall, so when you're spray painting, your overspray goes out here on the tape. I don't think there'll be enough out here on the outer tire to make a difference, which I'm going to clean the tires real good when I wash the car and then put some tire shine on them anyway. But anyway, I did mask off the valve stem, but anyway, so I just shot this one. I'm going to wait for it to kick off, and then I'll easy pull this up, and then, because this is actually the one I used on that one, so then I just replaced it back in here. So this should do all 4, hopefully. But I'm pretty impressed. That looks pretty nice already. Just painting the steel rims black. You can kind of tell the car's faded really bad. I'll get that polisher out after. It'll look like $1 million when I'm done, I hope. Alright guys, the headlight turned out pretty decent. The turn signal is actually foggy inside, so I've got the outside looking really, really shiny, but it's fogged up for some reason inside. But oh well, it's as good as it gets. So we tore off little areas of masking tape and stuffed up in there. That way when I'm running the buffer, I don't, you know, run the paint off the body. I'm using some pretty hardcore, this is #1 compound. This is like really, really hardcore compound. And I'm using a little air small buffer with an old piece of a Velcro. I think it was a 6-inch pad that I had cut down. Anyway, so this is after sanding it, and so they're pretty foggy looking right now because they're sanded, but so I'm getting ready to do this side. But what an amazing difference from that to that. So you can see there where the buffer gets into the edge of that. So if it was just the paint, you would probably take the paint off or burn the paint. So if you're going to do this, be sure you use masking tape. Good enough. It's not perfect, but okay. Alright guys, got my high-tech Bauer orbital polisher, which I love. I love this thing, especially for the price. Anyway, I'm just using it's actually too big of a pad, but it's all I had here that was new. It's a finer pad, but I've got the remnants of some Meguiar's mirror glaze. It's Swirl Remover 2.0. It's like a number 3 cut. And I'm not really going to dig into the paint. I'm just going to try to get a little bit of a shine out of it because I don't have a whole lot left in here. So I'm going to try to cover that whole car with what I have. So I'm going to be going over it a little quick, but anyway, here. That's Basecoat clear coat, so there shouldn't be black on that. That's the contaminants in the paint. I do not have a clay bar, so it's pulling the contaminants out of the clear. And normally you wouldn't buff over a vinyl stripe like that, but it's so chalky and rough to the feel, we're going to try to just run the buffer over it, and then when we wash it and wipe it down, I'm going to see what it looks like. Anyway, I'll get back with y'all here in a little bit when I get it wiped down. Alright guys, I am wore out, man. I think we're thinking we may have about 7 hours total in that car today, but we put a new fuel pump in it, washed it, and then I polished it with an orbital polisher, and then I carnauba waxed it, and then went around it with a little bit of Armor All in some places, and put the new hubcaps on, repainted the wheels. I pulled each wheel off and painted it separate, polished the headlights and the turn signals. So looks pretty nice. Thing's back up to snuff again. I mean, it's not perfect. It's got some dents and dings and scratches. Not any big dents, just little door dingers in it, but that'll work, man. Let's just hope it's fixed now, right? That is a 7-hour Fiat restoration right there. Thanks for watching.